Remember the last time you stopped for fuel? You glanced at the number on the pump, watched the total climb, and felt how one small figure could shape your weekly budget. What probably never crossed your mind was a jagged island in the Persian Gulf. Yet your wallet is connected to that place by an invisible cable stretched across the global energy system. That place is Kharg Island. It is one of the most sensitive points in the world's energy network, a mix of coral, steel, pipelines, storage tanks, and terminals that handles the overwhelming majority of Iran's crude exports. For decades, the unwritten rule was clear. Kharg Island was too important to touch. Any major disruption there could send shockwaves through markets, fuel prices, shipping routes, and political capitals all at once. Tehran understood that perfectly. The island became more than an energy hub. It became a shield. Military systems were placed close to critical oil infrastructure, creating a dangerous calculation. No one would risk damaging the flow of energy just to remove the threat beside it. That calculation has now changed. In the early hours of the morning, aligned militia groups operating under the broader influence of Iran's security network carried out a coordinated wave of unmanned systems and long-range weapons against civilian energy facilities. The message was meant to be unmistakable. They wanted to show that they could pressure the global economy whenever they chose. They expected the familiar response: strong statements, emergency meetings, and limited action against remote storage sites or empty facilities far from the real center of power. They believed Kharg Island would remain protected by its importance, guarded by advanced air defense systems, hardened shelters, and elite forces positioned around the island. But this time, the equation is different. The U.S. Navy and Air Force have been given a mission that sounds almost impossible. Remove Iran's military footprint on Kharg Island while keeping the energy infrastructure working. Not a broad, reckless operation, not a chaotic show of force. A precise, layered campaign designed to separate military assets from the oil facilities surrounding them. This is where technology changes the rules. The goal is precision measured not in miles, but in feet. A launcher can be disabled while nearby refinery structures remain untouched. A command node can be taken offline without damaging the terminal beside it. The entire operation depends on timing, intelligence, coordination, and a level of accuracy that leaves almost no room for error. Because if that timing fails, the consequences reach far beyond the island. Energy markets react instantly. Shipping companies change routes. Governments hold emergency calls. Ordinary people feel it at the pump. But inside the modern battle network, hesitation is replaced by calculation. Kharg Island is not just a port. It is a compact, heavily fortified 22-square-kilometer position covered with sensors, launch systems, hardened sites, and defensive layers. At the center of that protection is the Bavar 373, Iran's most advanced long-range air defense platform. Tehran promotes it as a system capable of competing with some of the most powerful defenses in the world. Its radar can track conventional aircraft from hundreds of kilometers away. That means a pilot does not need to be close to feel its presence. The moment that radar begins searching, the airspace changes. Every movement is being measured, every signal is being analyzed, and every second becomes part of a larger digital contest. The Bavar 373 is not standing alone. It is supported by other systems designed to cover different altitudes and ranges, creating overlapping layers of defense from high altitude down to low-level approaches. Beneath that surface network, Iran has spent years turning the island into a hardened military position, carving out shelters and reinforced locations for fast boats, small submarines, command centers, and support equipment. The thinking was simple: make the cost of entry so high that no one would attempt it. Iran prepared for pressure. It prepared for a direct confrontation. It prepared for a long, grinding contest of endurance. What it did not prepare for was an operation that treats every system not as an obstacle, but as a sequence of problems to be solved. The first move does not come with noise. It comes through the network. Before aircraft appear on radar, before ships move into position, before the island even understands what is happening, the digital environment begins to change. Communications become unreliable. Sensors lose clarity. Command links slow down. Operators start seeing gaps where there should be certainty. The Pentagon calls this shaping the environment. Tonight, that unseen preparation is being guided by the quiet specialists of U.S. Cyber Command. While IRGC crews on Kharg Island watch their expensive control screens, the digital picture around them begins to shift. This is not just radio interference, it is a carefully timed disruption of the island's command network, cutting the links that allow radar sites, launch crews, and mainland controllers to operate as one. By 1:15 a.m., Kharg Island's integrated air defense system is still standing, but it is no longer working as a single unit. The radars continue to rotate. The Bavar 373 launchers remain in position. The interceptors are still ready. But the network connecting them has been fractured. They can no longer coordinate clearly with each other or with command centers beyond the island. This is the quiet pressure of modern information warfare. Not chaos for the sake of chaos, but the denial of certainty. One battery commander near the North Pier sees a clean sky on his display. Another, only a few miles away, is staring at hundreds of false contacts moving in every direction. What was built as a layered shield has been reduced to isolated pieces of machinery, each one expensive, powerful, and suddenly alone. Before anything physical happens, the island has already lost control of its own digital picture. At 1:30 a.m., the next phase begins. Far outside Iranian airspace, B-52 Stratofortresses release waves of ADM-160 MALD decoys. These are not traditional strike systems. They are electronic illusions, small unmanned platforms designed to look much larger and more dangerous on radar. To an Iranian operator under pressure, they appear as high-value aircraft approaching from multiple directions, mimicking the radar signatures of platforms like the B-1B Lancer or the F-15E Strike Eagle. For the IRGC crews, already tense after the earlier regional escalation, the screens now show exactly what they have been trained to fear: a large, multi-axis American air operation moving toward critical energy infrastructure. Their manuals leave little room for interpretation. The response is immediate. They begin launching interceptors. Each Sayed 4B interceptor represents a major investment, costing the regime millions to produce and deploy. Each ADM-160 decoy costs only a fraction of that. For the next half hour, Iran's air defense crews are pulled into a costly exchange, using valuable interceptor stocks against targets that were never real aircraft in the first place. Every launch drains the magazine. Every engagement reveals more about the location and behavior of the defense network. And most importantly, every time a radar locks on and operates at full power, it becomes visible across the electromagnetic spectrum. In trying to defend the island, the crews are lighting up their own positions for every American sensor in the region. While the decoys absorb attention, the real aircraft are already operating where Iran believes they should not be able to survive. Two F-35C Lightning II fighters from the USS Abraham Lincoln are positioned inside the outer edge of the contested airspace. Their small radar signature makes them extremely difficult for conventional radar systems to track. To the island's long-range sensors, they are not obvious targets. They are faint, fleeting, and easy to miss. But the F-35s are not simply hiding. They are managing the entire tactical picture. Working alongside EA-18G Growlers, which flood selected frequencies with electronic pressure, the stealth aircraft launch AGM-88, GAAR-GM-ER anti-radiation systems. These are designed for one purpose: to find and neutralize radar sources that reveal themselves. For the Iranian radar crew, the dilemma is brutal but simple. Keep the radar active and it becomes a beacon. Shut it down and the incoming system can rely on stored coordinates, GPS guidance, and onboard sensors to continue toward the last known location. The operator is left with no clean choice. The very radar built to protect the island has become the signal that exposes it. With the island's long-range surveillance network disrupted, the operation shifts closer to the surface. Now comes the aircraft Iran least expected to see in this role, the A-10 Thunderbolt II, better known as the Warthog. While stealth platforms handle the high-end air defense systems, the A-10s move low over the Persian Gulf, staying close to the water and beneath the reach of what remains of the sensor network. Their mission is to contain the fast boat threat. IRGC crews have launched multiple fast attack craft from hardened shelters, planning to pressure U.S. destroyers, support vessels, and commercial shipping in the area. These boats are built for speed, numbers, and confusion. Their strength is the swarm: overwhelm the target, force hesitation, and turn the water into a moving puzzle. But the A-10 was built for exactly this kind of close, high-pressure environment. Wrapped in armor and centered around its 30mm GAU-8 Avenger cannon, the aircraft brings overwhelming precision against small surface targets. Working together with Navy MH-60R Seahawk helicopters, the Warthogs begin breaking up the formation before it can become a serious threat. Against a small fiberglass attack craft, the GAU-8 does not need drama. It only needs a short, accurate burst. Within minutes, the swarm begins to lose its shape. Boats turn away from their routes. Crews lose coordination. The carefully planned rush toward the shipping lanes becomes a scattered attempt to survive the pressure from above. What was meant to be Iran's asymmetric advantage is being dismantled piece by piece before it can reach the open water where it matters most. Within minutes, the A-10s have taken the island's maritime defense out of the equation. The fleet Iran spent decades building as a pressure tool in the Strait of Hormuz is broken apart before it can even get close enough to identify a single American vessel. The Warthog is not just an aircraft in this scenario. It is a precision instrument designed to remove overconfidence from the battlefield. By 2:45 a.m., the outer defensive layer around Kharg Island has been stripped away. The IRGC's radar network is blinded, its fast boat formations are scattered, its command structure is locked in confusion. Now comes the part that was supposed to be impossible, removing the military core of the island without disrupting the oil terminals around it. This is where the B-2 Spirit enters the story. After a mission stretching across half the globe, the stealth aircraft arrives over the island carrying the GBU-57A/B, one of the most powerful deep penetration precision systems ever built. Its purpose is not spectacle. Its purpose is access. It is designed to reach command and control facilities buried far beneath the surface, protected by layers of rock, concrete, and years of strategic planning. While the B-2 focuses on the underground nerve center, F-15E Strike Eagles begin working through the surface targets with GBU-39 small-diameter precision glide systems. These are compact, highly accurate weapons built for close work in crowded environments. One can be guided toward a specific shelter entrance, a parked launcher, or a command vehicle without affecting nearby infrastructure. That distinction matters here. Some military targets are positioned dangerously close to primary oil pipelines and terminal equipment. In a traditional operation, that would make the entire area too risky to touch. But this is not a traditional operation. The targeting is measured, layered, and exact. A launcher can be disabled only a short distance from energy infrastructure, while the pipeline beside it remains untouched. This is not a broad attack on the island. It is more like a high-speed engineering operation under combat conditions, where every move is calculated to separate the military network from the energy system wrapped around it. The defenders are trapped inside the very fortress they built. The hardened shelters, buried command rooms, and concealed launch points were designed to make the island untouchable. Instead, those fixed positions have become predictable coordinates in a larger American targeting sequence. As Kharg Island is being methodically stripped of its military function, the IRGC tries to activate its final option. In Iraq, pro-Iranian militia units begin moving Mobile Fateh 110 short-range ballistic missile launchers out of concealed locations in Anbar province. Their plan is to launch a major retaliatory attack against U.S. personnel at Erbil and Al-Assad Air Base, creating enough regional pressure to force a pause in the operation around Kharg. But that move has already been anticipated. For hours, a second group of A-10 Thunderbolt IIs has been holding in the dark airspace near the Iraq-Iran border, supported by MQ-9 Reaper drones watching the routes below. The moment the militia crews bring the launchers into the open, the drones identify and mark the vehicles with infrared designators. The A-10s move in immediately, supported by precision air-to-surface systems. The launchers are disabled before they can begin their firing sequence. The attempted retaliation ends before it can leave the ground. What was meant to be a pressure play becomes another failed move in a shrinking set of options. The island is isolated. The mainland cannot restore command. The regional militia network cannot shift the tempo. And the entire strategy built around escalation is being dismantled faster than Tehran can adapt. The militias did not simply fall short. They were removed from the equation before they could meaningfully affect the wider operation. In one night, the United States demonstrates something far bigger than air power alone. It can manage a high-intensity operation around an island and a precise counteraction deep in the desert at the same time, all through one connected command network. Then the final part of the sequence arrives. 45 minutes before the first digital disruption began, Arleigh Burke-class destroyers in the Gulf had already launched a wave of Tomahawk Block 5 cruise missiles. These weapons do not move at extreme speed. Traveling at roughly Mach 0.74, they needed the full length of the operation to reach Kharg Island. That timing was not a delay. It was the design. Everything that came before them had one purpose: open the path. The decoys forced Iran's defenses to reveal themselves. The anti-radar systems disrupted the island's surveillance network. The low-altitude aircraft and helicopters cleared the maritime threat. By the time the Tomahawks approached the shoreline, the defensive structure that was supposed to protect Kharg Island has already been taken apart layer by layer. There is nothing left that can reliably stop them. The Tomahawks do more than fly toward coordinates. They navigate, compare terrain, check visual references, and adjust as they move. Their onboard systems allow them to confirm targets in real time, avoiding the oil storage tanks, refinery towers, and terminal equipment woven throughout the island. They pass by the energy infrastructure and focus only on the remaining military sites, specialized docks, support facilities, and fuel storage tied to IRGC operations. The wall around Kharg Island is gone. And yet, the oil is still moving. That is the detail that matters most. The mission is not measured by dramatic images from the island. It is measured by what does not happen afterward. Hours later, when energy traders begin watching the markets, Brent crude does not surge. The global price does not spiral. The screen stays calm. For decades, the IRGC treated Kharg Island like a geopolitical emergency switch. Their assumption was simple: place military assets close enough to critical energy infrastructure, and no opponent would risk touching them. They believed any serious move against the island would create a market shock powerful enough to protect them from consequences. That assumption has now collapsed. They thought they were holding the global economy at risk. In reality, they had built a fragile system around a location the modern battle network could separate, isolate, and neutralize without stopping the flow of energy. Kharg Island is no longer untouchable. It is no longer a forbidden fortress. It is simply an island with damaged military systems, disabled command links, and energy terminals that continue to operate. The larger message is clear. The modern American battle network is not just a collection of aircraft, ships, drones, satellites, and cyber teams. It functions as one connected organism, able to apply pressure in one place, respond in another, and protect the wider system at the same time. The most powerful capability on display tonight is not a single aircraft or a single missile. It is the ability to make an opponent's decades-long strategy lose relevance in a matter of hours. The tankers are loading. The sea is calm. The sequence is complete.